Good afternoon and welcome to Rubbin Minds. I'm Oscar Onyiso and thank you for joining us this Sunday afternoon. A lot to talk about as usual. Let's touch on some of the headlines. Of course, I think the one making rounds that everyone is talking about is the classic case of the monkey. The monkey, the 70 million naira. Nigerians been taken for a ride. It's funny, it sounds funny, but the truth is these excuses are becoming one too many. We'll take a look at that. And of course, another one more recently is the issue of the abduction, this time in Yobe State, Dapchi to be precise, where some girls were abducted. And some are of the opinion that this is just too coincidental to the election coming up next year. And the same thing happened with the Chibok girls in 2014 against the 2015 election. Is it a coincidence or is there more to this than meets the eye? We'll take a look at that as well. Not Too Young to Run has been passed, and of course the bill is it's functioning, it's working. But the question is, we don't still have that many young candidates vying. Not too many of them are coming out. Was it too premature? Are the youth actually ready to run? And last but not the least, we'll look at evicted housemate from the Big Brother house. Chloe will be joining us here to talk about, well, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But for joining me in the studio, I have a social commentator, Tunde Oladipupo, who is here. Great to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And welcome to Rubbing Minds.
Yeah,
let's kick off very quickly, straight on the adoption of the schoolgirls, the Government Girls Technical College, Dapchi, Yobe State. Is this deja vu all over again?
Thank you. It's quite unfortunate that we are having this issue again the second time. And I find it very difficult to believe that the government is not prepared, as they've not been preparing themselves in order to guide against the repetition of what we had sometimes back at why some girls were taken up. Now it has repeated itself, and it's about the time where we're going to having election. And the same thing happened when the election was going to come up. It all boiled down at a security problem in the country that quite unfortunate that the government is still taking it like a joke. But it's something that should really be taken seriously. Just maybe you look at Lagos, for example. You know, when there are some boys were being abducted in a government school in Epe sometimes back, they were able to bring them back to their parents. And after then, the government tries as much as possible to put security in place at the various schools to make sure that it never repeats itself again. And I think that's what
the issue, I mean, you touched on the issue of security, and this is becoming something that we talk about in and out. Some will argue that the most natural or the most important natural resource we have are the human beings, the people, so to speak. And the government so far, according to a lot of people, have failed in that respect. In fact, some of the witnesses said that, and I quote, they said no one came to chase them. Even when the soldiers arrived, they did not pursue them. Some of the opinion that 2 hours even after the abduction, if they were pursued, they would still have caught the girls. That these guys literally just strolled in. Some of them, I think some said they even asked for directions to the school, and they took these girls and they left. And even though they didn't hurt anyone, there was no sense of security. It was basically they can come in tomorrow, and this will happen all over again. So what do you think is responsible for the very lackadaisical attitude?
Yeah, thank you. One of the biggest problems we have in Nigeria is my own personal opinion. Still, I want to believe sabotage could be in place. You know, so many factors could be responsible for this. For example, before the Boko Haram could come in to take up the girls, it has been planned. It was planned. You understand? Definitely, they took their time to do it, and we learned that nobody was hurt, and they were able to take away the girls without being destructive. Unfortunately, when these military men came in, they were not quick at, being able to get them, you understand, to give them a chase. Then something could be wrong somewhere.
There was even insinuation that 24 hours after, there were claims by the government that the girls were rescued, and then the parents found out that that wasn't the case, which brings to light the issue of misinformation.
That is unfortunate. It's unfortunate. we shouldn't have had such problem. You know, before you give out any information, especially when it's coming from the government side, they ought to be very sure of what they want to say. Then what do we have the PRO for? And you can imagine a whole 105 girls missing in just in a twinkle of an eye. That's a big problem. It shouldn't be. And you know, the PRO of the police or whatever, of the government, now saying that they were back, unfortunately, and they were not back. That was a lie. That's is uncalled for.
Do you think it's a coincidence that this is happening almost the same pattern as the Chibok girls? Some of the opinion that there's a political undertone to this.
It could be. We used to have PDP. PDP happened to be the largest, the biggest party in the whole of Africa, and somehow the APC was really tried so hard to take them off. And when the APC came in, they rubbished so many things the PDP had been doing, and although we could see that they did not do so well in the 16 years they ruled the country, and now APC had been, to them, they want to try as much as possible to do very well. You know, it's obvious. Somebody somewhere might want to rubbish their own good performance too. It's possible.
And how do you think this makes us look to the international community?
Well, at large, they still make let's say Nigeria look so, they make us look as if we are stupid, you know. It's unfortunate.
Okay. When you look at the issue of security surveillance, what do you think, I mean, if you had a chance, what do you think should be the next step? Because there's nothing that actually guarantees that this won't happen again, even on a larger scale.
There is still something I believe. Before any government could come to take good care of me or protect me, I should protect myself first. I'm the first person to be responsible for anything that happens to me. For that to have happened twice, I still want to blame the community. You can't just sit down and be waiting, because now it's just obvious that the government is not even ready to help.
Okay, you're pointing the finger at the community this time.
Yeah.
What do you think the community should have done?
The first,
because they're not. I mean,